Here's a pretty cool trick for improving the look of your granny square when you're transitioning between rounds and staying with the same color yarn. I'll be demonstrating on a classic granny square with chain 2 or chain 3 corners and chain 1 spaces along the sides. You can use this trick on granny squares or on any shape worked in the round from the center out, where you would be ending a round with a chain space, then joining with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning stitch of the round. Let's see how it works. I'll be using American crochet terminology throughout. When you're ending a round on a granny square, typically you end by doing, say, here's a chain 3 corner and join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3, which completes this corner. Now my hook is at the end of that space I just made. So in order to get to the next space to start my next round, I have to slip stitch across to place my hook. So I'm going to slip stitch in the next 2 stitches and into this chain space. So now my hook is in position to begin the next round. So I do a chain 3, and then this particular granny square uses groups of 3 double crochet, and I'm going to put chain 2 corner here, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets in the corner, and so on around to the end of this round. But before I finish the round, I want to point out what has happened here when I did these slip stitches to reposition my hook. You can see that at the top of a double crochet you have these V's. I call them V's, which are they look like chains right at the top of the stitch, and they're pointing outward, all except on this first group of 3 double crochets where they're pointing upward. That's because those slip stitches were worked into these V's, and the slip stitch is sitting in the front of the double crochet. So these slip stitches are going to face forward while these other ones are facing outward. I'm going to end this second round the same way I did the first round, just to show you. We'll have 2 examples of what happens with this slip stitch join. So here I've done 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in each corner space, and a chain 1 over each of these 3 doubles here. So I've got chain 1 on the sides and chain 2 at the corners. So here I am, I'm going to end with a chain 1 and then join with that slip stitch to the top of my chain 3. But when I do that, once again, my hook is over here on this side of the space that I just made. So in order to get to a space to work the next round, I'm going to have to slip stitch, and watch what happens when I do that slip stitch. You see now that slip stitch is sitting, I'm working into the top of the double crochet, so the slip stitch kind of sits in front of that. Then I slip stitch in the space, and then go ahead and do my regular round, which is start with a chain 3, 2 more doubles to finish that group, chain 2, and so on all the way around. At the end of this round, I'm going to show you a better way to end the round. Here I am, I'm at the end of round 3, and normally as I would be working a chain 1 and then join with a slip stitch and have to slip stitch over. But I'm not really thrilled with the way these slip stitches look different from all my other groups. Wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to add that bulky slip stitch there? Well, here's what you can do. Let's go back for a minute and think about how we use chain 3 as a double crochet here. So that chain 3, that height of the chain 3 became a double crochet. And if you think of some examples when you have a chain 1 for single crochet, that chain 1 gets your hook up to the height of the first single crochet you're going to do. But in the same way that we can use a chain to get height or to move our hook, we can use a single crochet to do the same thing. Instead of doing a chain 1 to bridge this gap, I'm going to do a single crochet, and I'm going to put a single crochet right here into this top of this chain, the top of the chain 3. So single crochet. Now what this single crochet is doing, and you can't really see, but the single crocheting is lying sideways and the hook is on the forward edge of my space. So pretend I just made a chain space, but the single crochet is lying down sideways, but now my hook is at the beginning of this space that I just made. So now I can start my next round by doing my chain 3 and then treating this single crochet right here as if it were a chain space. So I'm going to work 3 or 2 more double crochets into this space. I'm working around the post of the single crochet or into that space. So I'm just continuing my pattern. I'm not starting my round at the corner as I had done before, but when I work around that post or into that space, the base of those stitches completely cover that, just like they would a chain, and I can keep working around. I'll in this case have to do a chain 1 to bridge this gap, and then I'll do a full corner here and just continue working around my granny square in the regular way. Here I've finished this round, and we can compare what it looks like with the slip stitches versus not having slip stitches. And you can see here, you can see where the slip stitches were, but on this round we did not have to use the slip stitches. So I can just continue going with this granny square. I would substitute a single crochet here in place of a chain 1. That single crochet now leaves my hook at the beginning of that space, so I can do a chain 3 and do my double crochet around the post of that stitch or into this space. And then my hook's just situated to continue going around. Notice that the beginning of my round is going to continue to move in this direction each time because I'm shifting over. So your instructions might have told you to start in the corner each time. You just have to understand what's going on with the round so that you can make those adjustments because your end of round is going to change. But what if I like to start my round at the corner every time? I can do that. I just have to make a little bit of an adjustment. The beginning of this granny square has chain 3 corners. In order to keep my corner at the same place every time, I'm going to have to do half a corner to start with, go all the way around, and then do another half a corner. So I'm going to want my hook to end up in the center of that space. So with this being a chain 3 space to end here, I'm going to do a chain 1, and then I would need 2 more chains, but instead I'm going to do a half double crochet into the top of this turning chain, or this build-up chain, this beginning chain 3. Let's see if I can get my hook in here. So I'm going to do my half double crochet. That half double crochet is now lying on its side, just like the single crochet did, and my hook is in the center of that corner space. So now I can do chain 3, 2 more doubles in this space. So I'm working right into the space, not into the stitch, because remember that half double crochet is lying on its side and acting like a chain 2. Then I'm just going to work the rest of the round, and I've worked around. I have my corners here, and I had half a corner to start. Remember, I have this chain 1 space, and I had worked around the half double crochet. So here I'm going to end with a chain 1, 3 doubles in the beginning space. So it's right here in the corner. And now I need to do another chain space. This would normally be a chain 2 space. These were all chain 2 spaces. So I'm going to do a chain 1, which moves my hook over a little bit toward the center of this space. And then I have one more chain 1 to do. So I'm going to substitute a single crochet for the chain 1. That single crochet is going to lie sideways. It's going to leave my hook in the center of that space. You can't really see it, but it really is there in the center. Do my chain 3 and put 2 doubles around the post or into that space I just formed with my joining single crochet. And then that's the first half of my corner, first part of my corner. I'll continue just working around until the end of the round, and I'll end up doing the same thing on every single round. And all my corners will end up going out like this. They won't be shifting the way I showed you before. If you'd like more instruction like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the links in the video notes for more ways you can find me. Thanks for watching.